Hey everybody, I'm Nick James. Welcome to Nick's Nerd News. Now, usually I'm your guy to give you your Week in Geek in just 4 minutes. This week, however, due to the recent passing of Stan Lee, I wanted to take the time to talk about him a little bit. Let everybody know exactly what he did and the entire universe that he built that people just love. Let's snap into Stan Lee vision and we'll get going. He was born right in New York, New York in 1922 to the real name of Stanley Martin Lieber. He shortened his name to Stan Lee when working in comics because he figured he'd write the great American novel and wanted to put that out under his full name and not be associated with the comic books because at the time it wasn't actually a popular profession to say you were in. Now, he started in Timely Comics in 1939 and just 2 years into the job at the ripe old age of 19 was made the editor-in-chief, where he kept that job until 1972. At the beginning, though, he wasn't really a big fan of it. He wasn't really allowed to do what he wanted to do. He had all these ideas and couldn't express himself, so he was about to leave when his wife Joan said, "Hey, do one for yourself. If you wanted to make a comic book, if you don't care if you get fired anyway, what is the comic book that you'd write?" And that comic book was The Fantastic Four. And thus, the Marvel Universe was born. I mean, with help from artists like Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, John Romita Sr., Don Heck, Bill Everett, and Joe Manlini, he was able to forge all these characters that we know and love that built what is the Marvel Universe. Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, Daredevil, the Hulk. All these characters came from Marvel and from Stan Lee. Later, this would be turned into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which would then make all of these characters worldwide known. And because of that, Stan Lee was able to sneak into all the Marvel Cinematic Universes, all those movies, because it was a nice wink at the man who made them. Thus, you get to be in the products. My top 5 favorite moments Stan Lee cameos have to be when he appeared in Ang Lee's Hulk, because he was next to Lou Ferrigno, who played the actual literal Hulk in the television series compared to Bill Bixby's David Banner. Later on, my second favorite one is Iron Man, where he's mistaken for Hugh Hefner. He's got the robe on, pretty funny. In Avengers 2, he got really drunk and he was like Excelsior because he drank Thor's magic potion. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was probably my favorite. We see him with the Watchers and it's kind of established of this kind of maybe little small theory that he himself is a Watcher and that's how he appears in all these. But my favorite all time has got to be Civil War, when he's the FedEx guy and he shows up like, "I'm looking for Tony Stank." It's just good. You know he enjoyed doing those and we enjoyed watching him. It's just been so much fun to see him do this. And not only have we loved him doing this, he's loved us back in return. He admired his fans as much as we admired him. And he said it himself, he was in the game at the very end for the fans because they meant that much to him. And to actually end this, what we have is a little piece of him saying how much he loved his fans. It's from one of his very last interviews. So not only does he thank us, we thank you. Stan Lee, Excelsior.
I cannot tell you how much I love my fans. Sometimes at night I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, what's it all about, you know? And then I get a letter from a fan, or I read something, or I see something, or I remember something, and I realize it's so lucky to have fans who really care about you. And that's the reason I care so much about the fans, because they make me feel so great